Hello. I have seen a lot of concern lately online about people who are going to protests and are concerned about, the safety of protests, and also things like they have questions about should they take their cell phone, and, photographing and videoing. So I thought I would give some information and also just kind of express my opinion. A little bit of background about myself. I am an attorney. I have been practicing law since about 2001. I am not a civil rights attorney, nor am I an immigration attorney, but I will give you some general information. So first, when going to protests, the question of should you take your phone? I've seen the advice to leave your phone at home, and that is a perfectly valid decision. It's certainly a safe one. I, however, do take my phone. And the reason I take my phone is I think it is extremely important that we document what is happening. We take photos, we take video, we publish them, we say I was there, we use our voices. Because if we don't, it is very easy for the powers that be to say these protests aren't happening or they're not that big. And we want to document what is happening, what is going on in our nation. So I do take my phone, and yes, I do photograph, and I do video, and I do publish. And that brings me to point number 2 that I've seen. People saying, don't photograph and don't take videos of protesters at protests. And here's the thing. In a public venue, people have the right to photograph. There is no expectation of privacy. And in fact, you can expect that news media is probably going to be there, and they are going to be taking photos and videos. There may be drones, there may be counter-protesters who are taking photos and videos. And by the way, if there are counter-protesters taking photos and videos, and they're trying to rile people up, having videos from our side is generally useful because they can edit, they can warp a video, they can twist it, but having full video of what is going on is useful. So if you're concerned about being identified at a protest, and I do understand those concerns, then you can take measures, simple measures to just make yourself less recognizable. A hat, sunglasses, a sun bandana, or, a mask, like a, COVID mask. I like sun bandanas in general. They hang around your neck, and then you can just pull them up, and you don't have to have so much SPF on. I don't really take a lot of measures personally to hide my identity. As you can see, I'm doing a video because I think it's important that we use our voice. And I think this country is worth fighting for. I think it's worth standing up for. And I think it's important that as many people as possible speak up. So the second issue I've seen people talk about is, what happens if you're confronted with law enforcement officers and maybe they take your phone. So I'm going to give you some general information. So if you're worried about that, then password protect your phone and make a strong password. Don't use facial ID or a thumbprint to unlock your phone. Use the password and make it strong. The reason for that is that a password essentially falls under the Fifth Amendment of, you have the right to remain silent kind of thing. Testimonial evidence. You cannot be compelled to testify against yourself. And so if you have a password, that's in your brain. If it's in your brain, you can't be compelled to tell the officer what your password is. It's a lot harder for them to unlock and gain access to your phone. However, if you use a thumbprint or facial recognition to unlock your phone, that is not testimonial evidence. They can use that to unlock your phone. So if you're filming or videoing, maybe law enforcement or something's happening and you want to document it, and you're confronted by a law enforcement officer, and you think they're going to take your phone, lock it really fast. Have that one button lock. Have it password protected. If they ask you for your password, say, I'm not going to give you my password. If they ask you for your phone, you can say, I don't consent to you seizing my phone, searching or seizing my phone. Don't put up a fight, but just, tell them that you do not consent, but do not resist. And saying, I do not consent to a search or a seizure is useful, and it may help you down the line if you want to challenge that. But don't resist, because that's a whole different ball game. So those are some basic, general words of advice. And I know people have a lot of questions about things, and I know you may not agree with me on everything, and that's a-okay. I'm happy to answer some questions. I think it's important that we answer questions and that we talk about this. If you have other questions you'd like me to answer, again, I'm not giving legal advice. None of this is legal advice, by the way. But I will do my best to just give information in general. Put them in the comments. I'll do the best I can to respond to comments, again, with general information. And if you are protesting, just be out there, be safe, stay on the right side of the law. Don't damage property, don't trespass, and you should be okay. And yes, I know should be okay is not the same as you will be okay. And yes, I know there's a lot of legitimate fear out there, and we are in different times. When all the past protests don't really apply because of the current administration, but this is why it's even more important that we use our voice, that we show up, and that we document what is happening, that we take video, that we take photographs, and that we put it out there and show people what is happening so that they cannot deny what is happening. They can try to deny, but there will be evidence preserving what is going on in this country for ourselves and for, the next generation. So again, go out there, be safe. If you have any questions, you have anything else you'd like me to talk about, again, put it in the comments, and I'll do the best I can to give you some general solid information, based on, what we know right now. Thank you.